This is the Angels Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Angels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. Coming at you live, as always, on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area. Was covering sports with the Daily Bruin, UCLA sports. Rough day for UCLA. We won't talk about that here. Rough day for the Angels, and let's be honest, you can already tell a rough day for me as well. I'll be completely honest, having a lot of technical issues with my computer today. So we're doing this one on my phone. Let me know in the comment section if you're in here, if you can still hear me okay. Obviously, you can see me, but just let me know in the comment section if everything is good on the audio front. But rough day. For our Angels, an 8-6 loss to the Cleveland Guardians. And just like that 4-1 start is now 4-3, still a winning record. But the story of this one has to be, as I get confirmation there that you can hear me loud and clear, love to see that, it's Jose Ramirez, 3 home runs. And it's back-to-back games with a player, an opposing player, hitting 3 home runs. Pretty crazy. I mean, we have to dig into the MLB archives. When's the last time a team has given up a 3 home run performance to an individual player in back-to-back games in 2 different series, in 2 different cities, in 2 different states, right? It's an absolutely crazy affair for our Angels. But before we jump into that, and before we jump into the whole show, Jose Soriano struggles today. Mike Trout able to go deep, but the offense not enough here. First and foremost, as always, shout out to everybody in here. I appreciate, and I know it's late, 10:42. I think the latest stream we've had so far this season. Obviously, a little bit of delay as well with me trying to get the tech issues all sorted out. But shout out to everybody in here live. As always, really appreciate it. Again, this is the place to be after every single Angels game, win or lose, working computer or not working computer. And so once again, I really appreciate everyone in here. But with all that being said, you know what we do? We talk about the turning point. We talk about the player of the game. Let's just get right to it.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I mean, it has to be Jose Ramirez. Obviously, 3 home runs, 2 of them off of Jose Soriano, and just absolutely stellar performance for him. He has 3 hits. He also gets on via the walk. The final stat line for him, Jose Ramirez, 4 at-bats, 3 hits, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, a walk. Ends up striking out once. But again, he does it every time. He did it last year. Remember, multiple postcasts, the Angels playing against the Guardians. Ramirez kills us. But let's be honest, this guy kills everybody. He's one of the best players in the MLB that nobody talks about, right? Of course, you're going to talk about Ohtani. Of course, you're going to talk about Judge. Of course, you're going to talk about Soto and Tatis, right? But kind of all the guys, other than those guys I mentioned, he's like that next tier, right? If he's not your A-plus superstar, best of the best MVP candidate, then he's got to be A. He's not an A- player. He's an A, arguably A-plus player. I know the Super Halo Bros, Locked On Angels, they tweeted, is Jose Ramirez the most underrated player in the entire major league? And he might be. I mean, he's just so consistent. I could not believe, I forgot until I was reminded today, that this guy is only making $20 million a year. That is insane. Has to be one of the best contracts, if not the best contract in all of Major League Baseball. 7 years, under 140, I believe the number was. So yeah, less than 20 a year, unbelievable. And yeah, he's obviously the player of the game. He hit 3 home runs. He hit 2 of them off of a Jose Soriano that obviously we all really believe in. And he had a rough game today. We'll talk about his start later in this one, but you got to give Ramirez all the credit. He opens the game with scoring, and that hurt, to be honest, right? It's the home opener, a lot of energy. Shout out to Angels fans, a sold out crowd, over 44,000, right? So much excitement after the 4-1 start, the 4-2 start heading into this home opener. Soriano on the mound, all the good vibes, right? And just 2 pitches into Ramirez's at bat, the second at bat of the ball game, he hits a sinker at the knees, not a terrible pitch, a sinker 98 miles an hour at the knees, but clearly he was waiting for it because he crushed it, 105.6 exit velo, 396 feet, and just like that, it's 1-0, right? And so you have this excitement coming into the game, and Jose Ramirez just quickly, briefly shuts it down right away. Now, fortunately, Mike Trout hit a home run in the bottom of the first. We'll talk about the Angels offense later in this one, but that got the energy back, but the energy was lost. Even with the Angels eventually picking up a lead, obviously they're leading this game midway through until a 4-2 game becomes 4-4 thanks to Jose Ramirez again. And this one was really impressive, both the time he did it and the at-bat. A 5-pitch at-bat, none of the pitches down the middle. Soriano trying to paint the corner here. He got a nasty swinging strike on the 2-1 pitch, a slider down and in, that back foot slider. Jose Ramirez swings through it. So smartly, Jose Soriano says, clearly this guy is sitting fastball or sinker, right? He already hit a home run off my sinker at the knees. He's swinging at a down and in slider at my feet, or at his feet, and he's swinging at it. Clearly, we got to throw him another slider on 2-2. But guess what? He's a big league superstar hitter. So he adjusts. He sees another slider. This one was still not in the zone, but just below the knees, and he absolutely pummels it. 100.9 exit velo, 394 feet, and this one absolutely massive. 1 on, 2 strikes, 2 outs, down by 2. He ties the game. If we're being honest there, that's my turning point, right? Or one of the turning points is tying the game. And then, of course, he still had more to say in this one, hitting kind of a dagger home run, if you could say that, in the top of the 9th inning. This one off of Caden Dana, a 1-1 pitch. And this was the most impressive bomb of them all. A fastball at his face. I mean, certainly above the strike zone, basically at eyesight. A fastball, 93.3 miles an hour. He hits it 104.5 off the bat, 408 feet. And just like that, maybe 7-4, there's a chance. And now you look at the final score, you see we get to 6 runs. 7-4 would have been a lot nicer than 8-4 with that home run from Jose Ramirez. So obviously the player of the game. He's just so consistent. He kills us consistently. He kills Major League Baseball consistently. He's now hitting 381 with a 1.488 OPS early in this season, and he's doing it on $20 million a year salary, and he does it every single season. He's got speed on the bases. He's an unbelievable player. And the other question is, how in the world do we have this happen back-to-back nights to us, right? Obviously, I'm not going to overreact and say, whenever we face a superstar, we need to pitch around him or something. But if you face a guy who's already hit 2 home runs, you certainly can't, give him easy things to hit. And I'm not saying Caden Dana did that with a high fastball in this one, but yesterday it was Ivan Herrera. Tonight it's Jose Ramirez. Back-to-back games with a 3 home run performance from a single guy. Maybe there need to be adjustments, because that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. And once again, we need to do some stat digging. Maybe I can have it before the postcast tomorrow. But that is crazy. I don't think I've ever heard a team do that or allow that in back-to-back games. Pretty crazy. We'll talk about Soriano real quick here before we take this break. Just a disappointing performance from him. He's my favorite Angel for a lot of reasons. I just think his confidence on the mound, his consistency, it's all, above or higher than you would expect at his age. Keith has a great pitch repertoire, a sinker, a slider, that knuckle curve, really kind of the perfect combination of pitches in today's day and age. I think the sinker is the most important pitch in baseball nowadays, and he just didn't have it tonight at all. 5 walks, right? You could see the 2 home runs to Jose Soriano, but for him, it's the 5 walks that is very concerning. A guy that throws hard, a guy that has a lot of break and everything. So you don't expect him to go without giving up a single walk. But you're telling me not 5 walks, my apologies, 3 walks in this one, but 3 walks. All 3 of those walks, I believe, scored. I think the stat was that 5 of the Guardians' 8 runs were guys that were walked. It was either 4 or 5 was the number. But you walk 6 guys as a team. That absolutely can't happen. Soriano walks 3 and gives up 2 home runs, and he gives up 5 hits. So he didn't, it wasn't one of those performances where you give up a lot of hits, but you make up for it by not having a lot of walks. Nope. There was hits, there was walks, and even then, if you do both of those, maybe you get out of it. Not if you give up the long ball as well. So really, nothing going for him tonight. It was interesting in his first start; he was phenomenal, and he was really using that knuckle curve. Didn't see that as much. It was the sinker and the slider, and it didn't work enough in this one. So I don't know if maybe he needs to go rely on that pitch a little bit more again. But just a rough performance for him. Five and a third innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks. Did have 9 strikeouts, but once again, I don't want Jose Soriano to be a guy who thinks he needs a bunch of strikeouts. He's a guy that should bury that sinker, force a lot of ground balls. Same thing we want to see from Jack Kohanowitz. And I get it. This pitching staff, you already have quite a few guys that are force contact, not swing and miss type of pitchers. Obviously, that's Jack Kohanowitz. Obviously, that's Tyler Anderson. And obviously, that's Kyle Hendricks as well, right? So those 3 guys are already ground ball forcing, weak contact forcing pitchers, not strikeout guys. Kikuchi, more of a strikeout guy, obviously. But Soriano, you can kind of see him being that in between, right? I like it when he is getting weak contact, more so when he's going for strikeouts. Not saying it's an approach type of thing, but tonight was just one of those nights where he was getting a lot of swing and misses, but when he was missing, he was getting crushed, right? Or he was just completely missing the zone altogether. So, he's going to be fine. No concerns about Jose Soriano. He was so good in his debut this season that the ERA is still 3.65 despite this pretty poor performance, because he was that good in the opener. He'll be fine. I still think he's probably better than Kikuchi right now. I think Kikuchi is going to ease into things a little bit, but he'll be okay. He'll be okay, but still a disappointing performance from him. And it didn't help when the bullpen had a couple issues. The first being Zephyr John leaving this one with an injury. Apparently, it's a hamstring. Kind of a unique injury for a pitcher, so we'll have to see how bad that one is. Obviously, the very questionable decision that everyone's going to talk about is why in the world does Reed Detmers only get 2 at bats, right? 3 at bats, gives up a walk, gives up a hit, does get that out. But why in the world does Reed Detmers not stay in this game when he's a former starter? He can give you another inning. Instead, Ron Washington elects to go with Kane Dana and ends up pitching him 3 innings. So don't really understand that one. I don't know if Ron felt like the game was kind of already over and just decided I'm going to, use this arm while they said Ryan Johnson's on paternity leave. So I guess Ron Washington said, screw it. We'll let Kane Dana just close this game. If we lose it, we lose it, but we're just going to burn his arm. We already have a lot of arms that need to recover. I would have been fine with that approach, but with Reed Detmers, and then maybe you bring Dana in the 8th or 9th if the game is close. But for Detmers to only pitch the few at-bats that he did, and then you have Kane Dana pitch 3 innings, seems very questionable to me. Don't know what that was. I mean, TFL makes a good point here. Maybe the logic is that Detmers is going to be needed later in this series when games are closer, but I would much rather have Detmers be the guy that you eat up innings with. I don't think he's the type of pitcher that's going to come in and have a 1-2-3 inning and then go sit down, and then 2 days later have a 1-2-3 inning and then go sit down. I think he's a guy you bring in when maybe you're down a run and you have him pitch 2 to 3 innings, see if he can keep it at a 1-run deficit or at worst give up 1 run or something. I don't think he's the type of guy, as a former starter and kind of a reckless starter, that you think is just going to come in and have a 1-2-3 inning and then sit down. He needs to ease into things. He needs to, maybe give up a walk, but then have a strikeout, maybe force a double play, get to the next inning, get into a groove, right? He's a former starter. So having him only pitch a few at bats and then have Kane Dana pitch 3 just did not make sense to me at all. But with all that being said, we're going to take our break here. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the injuries, because the Zephyr John injury was not the only injury, and it was easily the least concerning of the 3, in my opinion. So we'll talk about all the injuries. We'll talk about the Angels' offense, and we'll see what the heck to think about this team going forward after back-to-back losses here after our first break, or our only break, on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, do me a favor here and just give me a second. I'm doing quite a bit of stuff on my end to get this working. But today's show is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person every time. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And today's show is also brought to you by the Amazon Fire Stick 4K TV. And I'm just going to tell you from experience, I don't even need a script or anything. The Amazon Fire Stick is absolutely fire. You plug it in, whether you got a smart TV and you want to make it even smarter, or what I used it for originally was I was in a college apartment. We didn't have the money for a nice smart TV. We had a rinky-dink TV, but all you got to do is plug the Fire Stick in, and suddenly it is a Fire TV, right? You have obviously access to all of Amazon's inventory, especially if you have a Prime account, so you can watch Amazon videos on there. But it's not just Amazon, right? It's going to give you all the different apps you need to watch your different shows, whether it's, all the apps, Netflix, Hulu, all that good stuff, right? So Amazon Fire Stick, absolutely fire, and no pun intended, 4K, best quality, turn your rinky-dink TV into a smart TV with just a little Fire Stick. It's absolutely awesome. I used it all of college. I have it in my apartment right now. I have a smart TV and I still plug it in because I just think it's even better. So get yourself a Fire Stick TV, use code Locked On MLB. And with all that being said, let's get back to the show. 1 second. There we go. Back here live on this doing our best edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. Again, coming at you live from the Locked On Angels YouTube channel and after the fact on the channel and wherever you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. TFL says, wish the Angels had a Fire Stick for the offense. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking through the comments right now. Dusty with a good point saying Dana does not need to be on the team. Put Silseth in there instead. I don't know about that. I think I like seeing Dana have an opportunity here and there. But once again, the same thing with Ryan Johnson in the opening game of the season and Caden Dana now. If you're going to put a guy who you're scared about pitching, why are you making him the guy that's in for 3 innings, right? That's just what I don't understand. But enough about that. We have already criticized Ron Washington enough in terms of that. One thing we do have to give him credit for is getting Kyren Paris a chance to play in the infield tonight. Oh, wait, it wasn't because of his decision. It was because of an injury. So he doesn't get the credit. Unfortunately, Luis Rengifo goes down with a hamstring injury, just like Zephyr John. So 2 hamstrings in this one. Very concerning for him. Renjifo's kind of had an interesting start to the season. He's had a multi-hit games a couple times. He's also had a bunch of 0 for 4s. I think yesterday was an 0 for 4 performance with 2 strikeouts or something like that. We've got him batting second. We've got him batting sixth. Today was not batting second at all. Ron Washington elects to go Trout at second, which worked out. We'll get to that in a second. But Rengifo goes 1 for 2. He's hitting just 200 on the season, and now he's hurt. And I love Rengifo, one of my favorite players as well. And I know a lot of people want me to talk about the ump. I know. The ump was absolutely terrible in this one. Balls and strikes all over the place. Even whenever the Angels hit a home run tonight, they were questioning if it went out. Very annoying performance from the umpires, but I don't really feel like talking about it because I'll just blow up and be really frustrated. It was ridiculous. I don't think it decided the game or anything, but just ridiculous from them. But once again, Luis Rengifo hurt in this one. Very concerning. I don't know how bad the injury is, but it's more so with him. A small injury becomes a lingering injury, becomes okay, he's back, but then he's cold. And then once he gets back, then another injury pops up. We know that Rengifo struggles with this. So anytime you hear an injury happen, you're concerned. But when it's a guy like him, you're extra concerned. Same with Yohan Moncada, back having the similar issues he had in spring training. He has to leave this one. So you have 3 injuries in 1 game and you lose. So talk about insult to injury. Very frustrating in that regard. But the one encouraging thing in this game, right, despite Soriano struggling with, which never happens, despite 3 guys leaving with an injury, which is concerning, despite giving up 3 home runs to Jose Ramirez, the Angels offense did do a lot in this game. 12 hits. 12 hits. When's the last time we've said that? It's been a while. 12 hits for the Angels. And a bunch of guys are getting involved. Obviously, Mike Trout got it started with that home run. Someone called it, or Vinny, I'm not going to say someone, Vinny called Trout's home run yesterday. No one called his home run today, but certainly for those who were concerned about Trout because he had a rough, 3 or 4 games to start the season, you need to calm down. Obviously, it's just another one-hit performance. But if he goes 1 for 5 with a home run, people criticize him. If he goes 3 for 4, but the only out is in the 9th inning with the bases loaded, people criticize him, right? Obviously, 160 is not great. Obviously, a sub 700 OPS is not great. But the moral of the story is Mike Trout, he's going to be fine. He always has slow starts to the season. He typically does. He's going through a position change as well. But now back-to-back days with a home run. He continues to have an RBI just about every game, whether it's a sac fly one game or a solo home run today and a solo home run yesterday. And just wait till we start getting some guys on base for him. The interesting thing was having him hit second and Soler hitting third. Kind of an interesting decision there. Ohapi obviously has the late home run. He seems to always love to hit home runs in late moments. Unfortunately, when the game is kind of already out of reach sometimes. Obviously had the grand slam when it wasn't out of reach at all a couple days ago. But today, the game kind of felt out of reach. He still hits the home run. Good to see that because he's obviously had an interesting start to the season and had a rough end to last year. But a 2 for 4 with a home run for Ohapi. Other than that, a lot of hits, right? Like I said, Mike Trout with the hit. Jorge Soler with the hit, Moncada with the hit before he left, Ohapi with 2 hits, Shanuel a hit, Rengifo a hit before he leaves. Joe Adell goes 2 for 5, including that huge double. So he has 3 RBIs, still gives you 2 strikeouts. You can always expect that. Even Kevin Newman got a hit, guys. He still went 1 for 4 and still struck out twice, but he had a hit. So at least we know he holds a bat when he goes up there. Sorry, no offense. And the last guy, and I save the best for last as always. Kyren freaking Paris comes in for Rengifo. That's what forces him to play second base. And guess what he does? He goes 2 for 2 with a run. Again, the guy, all he does is hit. He's hitting .545. The OPS is over 1,600. And guess what? We all know that he can play the infield, except Ron Washington for some reason goes out there at second base, makes a pretty solid player too. And I mean, the one bright side, and it's certainly not a bright side, but the fact that Rengifo's out, the only thing that we can look for is the fact that Kyren Paris, if he's not playing every single game now going forward, I don't know what to say. Rengifo is going to be out of the lineup. Kyren Paris will be in at second base. I get it. Joe Adell is holding his own right now. Had a good performance today. He's hitting almost 300, doing it against righties and lefties. So I get it. And Ron Washington really believes in Joe Adell, wants to keep him in center field. Fine. But Kyren Paris has to play. I think it should be at short. Rengifo's out now, so I guess it'll be at second. Even if Neto comes back and Rengifo's still out, keep Kyren Paris at second. And if Rengifo comes back, dang it, you got to find a way to get Kyren Paris in the lineup. He's hitting .545, and every time you ask him to get a hit in any sort of big moment, any sort of late inning, he gets it done every time. So Kyren Paris, we better see him, and I'll leave it at that. But with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Appreciate everyone in here. Obviously, kind of a hodgepodge of a show. Feel like I keep saying that. It hasn't been ideal in terms of, 3 of my first 7 shows have either been in the middle of a workday, into a dome in a pod, or today on a phone because the laptop wasn't working. So again, I apologize. I'm doing the best I can. It's hard to do a live show directly after a game. Not to mention, and I'm not creating a sob story here, but I was at the Clippers game tonight doing my job. Can leave in the third quarter, race home, all to see that my laptop's not working. So doing the best I can. I really appreciate you guys, as always, for being in here. And eventually, it's going to be normal where I can sit down in front of my beautiful background with my laptop, with the good camera, with the good mic, and not have a sob story. And the only sob story will be about our Angels losing, but hopefully that won't be the case very often as well. But again, I really appreciate everybody in here, as always. Thanks for making this the place to be after every single Angels game. Angels fall 8-6, disappointing, but hey, couple bright spots. You have 12 hits. Kyren Paris is the man. Mike Trout keeps going deep. And if we can get a good start, we need a good start from Jack Johanowitz. If we can get that good start tomorrow, the Guardians always give us trouble, but I would love to at least steal one from this series and not fall below 500. We really, really, don't want that. So with all that being said, I'll be back here tomorrow with my laptop working. Let's hope. With the backdrop, with the lights, with the mic, with everything going well. Yes, shout out to Dominic here saying that he was at the game and it felt so good when Mike Trout homered. Love that. Love that. Obviously, the home opener, the vibes were good in this game, right? Even in a loss, even with Jose Ramirez doing what he did, being able to see Mike Trout hit a home run in the first inning, being able to see Logan O'Hoppe hit a bomb, you go up, you go down, you come back up. The one thing, and I'll leave with this, and then I'll stop, because once again, these shows are supposed to be less than 20 minutes, and I keep doing 25. But the one thing is, this team has fight, period. More than teams we've seen in the past, certainly last season. Every time last season, if it was 3-1, the game was over. If it was 4-1, the game was over. They were not coming back. What they would do is they would fall behind 8-1, and then in the ninth inning they'd score 4 runs for no reason, and you'd say you lost 8-5, but everyone knew that the game was never close. Not this team. This team goes behind, they come back, they go ahead. Unfortunately, with the state of the bullpen right now, they go behind again, but then at least earlier in the season, they went ahead again, right, and had a couple late inning late inning hits, or late inning runs, late inning wins, 10th inning, 11th inning, right? So I like the resilience in this team. You have young guys, and the goal all season is to stay as close to 500, if not over, as possible, so that all these games are meaningful and these guys are getting meaningful experience, hopefully acting like we can be in any sort of playoff push so that these guys get meaningful experience, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. So with all that being said, we're fine. We're fine, Angel Nation. We're fine, Halo Nation. We'll be all good. We're going to win tomorrow. I'm calling it right now. I think Jack Kwanowitz is going to have a bounce back performance. He's going to force a lot of ground balls. This is a Guardians team that likes to get creative on the bases. Typically, this year they're not stealing for whatever reason, but I think Jack Kwanowitz is going to have a good game, and I'm calling an Angels win right now. But with all that being said, I'm going to finally wrap this one up. Shout out to everybody in here, and I'll see you tomorrow after an Angels win. I'm calling it right now. See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Have a good rest of your Friday.